This is SWEDIN. I'm a professor of history at Weber State University, and I'm also a fiction writer, and these are my top 5 tips for writing fiction. Tip number 1, write what you know. You've probably heard this before. A lot of people think that if they don't know about what it means to be a police officer, then you shouldn't write about being a police officer. Also means writing the type of novels that you like to read. If you don't like to read the type of novel you're writing, you don't know the emotional arc that novel requires, you don't know the emotional payoffs that are required in that novel, and you don't know how to then evoke that in your reader. And if you can't evoke those emotional payoffs in your reader, you will not be successful. Tip number 2, write regularly. This does not mean you have to write the same time every day, but you should be writing at least several times a week. You need that consistent discipline because that's how you are productive and how you get things done. Do not wait until you're inspired to write. Sit down and start writing and the inspiration will come. Tip number 3, always be learning. This means learning about better ways to write. This means learning different types of stories to tell. This also means learning how the world really works. Nothing's more embarrassing than reading an author who is talking about something and they obviously are ignorant about it and they are not effectively able to communicate it. For instance, this is a spy novel. If you don't know how spying is really done, if you don't know how spying really works or governments really work, you're not going to do a good job telling a spy novel story. You should always be growing, you should always be learning. That innate curiosity that comes with learning really comes through in your novels. Tip number 4, respect your reader. This means respecting yourself as a writer. This means respecting them. This means don't talk down to your reader. Don't assume that you can get something past your reader. I know an author, he wanted to have a flood in Las Vegas when the Hoover Dam broke. And I was looking at him and thinking like, you know, the Hoover Dam is lower than Las Vegas. And he looked at me and said, they won't know it. That's disrespecting the reader. Don't disrespect the reader. Tip number 5, enjoy yourself. Writing is hard, it takes a long time, it's very solitary. Go out, meet other writers, become friends with writers. Oftentimes, other writers are the only people who really understand what you're going through as a writer. Go to writing conferences, become part of writing groups. Make writing an enjoyable social experience in addition to the private experience of actual creation. I am SWEDIN. I am a professor of history at Weber State. I'm also a fiction writer. I'm the author of 11 books. Half of them are novels. My most well-known novel is called When Angels Wept, A What-If History of the Cuban Missile Crisis. If I could give aspiring writers one piece of advice, keep at it, work. The successful writers I've seen have one trait that other writers don't have, and that's persistence.